congrats on the win. It seemed like two different games almost in some ways. You guys really took over in the second. What turned it, you think?
We got after them. I think we started well, and then they kind of took over in the first period. And then from then on, I think we deserve to win this game tonight. So we played well.
A couple of plays by Mark seemed to sure turn it. Did you get a good look at the two plays he made, first setting up Kyle and then his own goal?
Yeah, I mean, he does that pretty often, so it's not a surprise to us in this room. And Sayers knows how to bury those pucks in the back of the net.
Yeah,
so
don't see a guy make a pass to himself off the boards too often. I don't know if you noticed that one or not.
No.
Maybe not, no.
No.
It looked like you were going for a line change, but you knew it was coming first when you poked it to Mark?
Yeah, I didn't think Millsy was going to pass it up, but I'm glad he did. And then I saw Scheif was kind of in the middle, so I just tried to get a little tip on it. I mean, I put it in back, and I didn't see that because I was changing.
On the go ahead, Kenny.
I was thinking the same.
On the power play, pardon me. On the power play, what's it like to study at the Gabriel Velarde School of Drop Steps and net front moves? It looks like you've mirrored a lot of what he does, and it's having great success.
Yeah, I mean, he's showed that in the time that he's been here that he's pretty good net front. So, you learn from every single player that you play with and play against. And I think our power play, when we play it the right way, when we play it fast and get pucks to the net and get some chaos going, that's when we're at our best. When we work it around slow, it's not very good. So, you try to get as many pucks to the net as possible. I think with the skill that we have on both our power plays, things will open up once you get that chaos going.
10 of the next 11 games at home. What's it like to get this first one and get off with a win?
Great, obviously. We love playing at home, it seems, but it's no surprise. We got great fans. The schedule has been a little crazy. It was nice with a little break, and it's going to be nice to be at home for a little bit. So we're excited.
The highlight reel goal, probably, I mean, there's so many in this game, but your pass across to Gabe is going to be talked about, and Connor's pass down to you. So could you break it down for us? What did you see, starting with the puck at the top?
It started on the shift right before that. I took it to the net and got 2-3 whacks at it, but I also saw Gaber was backdoor, somebody was backdoor. So if I could get it there, I knew we had a good chance of putting it in the back of the net. So I told Gabriel to be ready for it. So it worked out.
How much of the success that your unit has had is little mid-game reads like that?
All the time. You study video before the game, but situations change all the time. So one guy might be a step lower, a step higher, a step more to the left or right. It's different all the time. So when you get out there, you obviously want to get the power play going right away, but you also learn every single shift you go out there for the power play. So when you do get one, you're ready for what they do, and you've talked about what you need to do.
On that one-time pass to Gabe, are you knowing that's what you're going to do as you're getting that?
Yeah, I knew I needed to get it there quick. I didn't know that he was pushing off still, but like I said, he's unbelievable in front of net. So I told him that it was coming, and he was ready for it. So it worked out.
That's 3 wins in a row and something like 7 or 8 out of the last 10. Does it feel like you guys are on a bit of a run, or is this just the first game after Christmas?
I don't know. It feels like we won a game tonight and we move on to the next one. There's so many games left. We're not even halfway. So obviously we played better tonight, and that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
guys dug out of a 2-0 hole, took the game over, and sort of walked away with it. How did you guys turn that game around?
We didn't try to chase it. I think that's the biggest thing is, we get down 2-0 and there's lots of game left. Sometimes you can go and chase it and try to chase offense, but we just kind of stuck to our game. Knew if we did the right things over and over, good things will happen, and it showed.
There were moments, I guess, where things opened up. What did you see when you passed it to yourself on the way to Kyle's goal?
Yeah. I was going to shoot it, and obviously it kind of hit their stick, and they kind of got in the lane. So just wanted to keep the possession going, and Casey does what he does best, and he gets open, and he's obviously fantastic. And I'm always happy to find Casey in the slot.
You have 10 goals in the month of December, Mark. Do you want this month to ever come to an end?
It's the Christmas month, so you gotta enjoy it. But it's been great, obviously. Just happy to play with the guys that I play with. They're absolutely fantastic, and just got to keep it going. Tonight's over. Past 12 o'clock, and then we focus towards Nashville.
I thought it was pretty structured tonight, Mark. How did you kind of break him down on that down the stretch?
I think it was just sustained pressure. I think that was the biggest thing. Is that we had the puck in the zone for a while. They kind of got a little tired, and when guys get tired, they kind of they make mistakes, and we just took advantage.
What's impressed you most about your power play on the stretch?
I think the biggest thing is whether we have a power play or it doesn't go well, or if it does go well and we just don't score, we don't stray from what we do best. We have a good plan. Painter gives us a good idea. During that TV timeout, he gave us a good idea what we were gonna look for, and it's obviously awesome playing with those four guys. They're pretty special, and obviously a nice play by Casey, and then a nice play by Nicky, and Gaber putting it home. It was awesome.
On your goal, it looked to me kind of like you almost bobbled the puck there shortly after receiving it. Did you end up going backhand as an adaptation to that situation, or were you thinking that all along?
Yeah, I was actually really pissed at myself that I bobbled it. OT's not going to be pumped about that one, but I don't think the goalie was expecting a little chip backhand short side, so sometimes you got to be lucky.
Along the highlight reel, I think there could be one of Mark Scheifele pointing with a big grin on his face to teammates who made a great pass. How important is it for you to let your teammates know when they've set one up like that?
Yeah, I love the guys I play with. I wouldn't be where I was without the guys that dished to me wheels for a long time. Casey's been amazing. Gaber's making some great passes, and I just think that's part of it. You appreciate when a guy makes a good play, and you want to make sure he knows it.
What did you think of the play you were made to chip it to you?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I wasn't exactly thinking that was going to happen. I thought I was going to get on the forecheck, and it kind of went right to me, and I had a little bit more space than I thought. So, obviously, a great play by Nicky there.
Thanks very much,
Mark.
2-0 hole and ended up taking over the game in a pretty big way. How did you do it? What was the change?
Yeah, kind of a little different game. Obviously, I liked our start. Their first 6 or 7 minutes until our power play, their power play, and then they scored. Then they kind of took over the rest of that first, and we got going again in the second, and there was a little bit of kind of up and down there. They scored again on their power play, but the big thing for me in the third, we had a big kill. Obviously, they had scored 2, but we went out and had a huge kill there, and then 2 minutes later, our power play got a chance to go out and scored, and obviously really got ourselves going, but in that third anyways, and then Fly got that one. But you know what, we've done it before. We've been down and kind of stick with what we were doing. We knew our forecheck, if we got on it, we were going to have, we were going to get opportunities, and saw it with Scheif's line. They went out and did it. Obviously on the first goal, us getting in and hounding them, making the plays, KC finding that hole in the high slot. The next one was a real nice play by Fly there, tipping that into Scheif on the speed. So, just staying in the game more than anything. And I just thought our second period was real good after, not really being at our best for the whole 20 in the first.
Scheifele said that it was really key to sort of stick to the way that you guys had been playing, not get away from it. And he and a lot of the big guns made those big plays. So how did they do it? Why is it so important to stick to your style?
Well, I think that's one of the things that this group has really grown over the last few years, is that as we get down 2, we don't panic, we don't start cheating, we don't start trying to do things that are away from sort of our structure, and we kind of stick to what we do best, and our offense always comes from that, and it was try to stay at what we were doing, get Ottawa to make a mistake, and they did, and we capitalized. Once we got the first, crowd got into it, kind of changed our bench, kind of got going. It was really, we had some guys that didn't play a whole lot with all the power plays kind of on both sides, and so it really got us back into kind of a rhythm, and we got going, and it was a real solid second.
You credited the big kill that you guys got at the end. I don't know how open you are to sort of breaking down the 2 that went in. It seemed like maybe it had been, great Ottawa plays, but maybe a bit easier than you'd like it to be for them as well.
Yeah, we kind of got obviously in the first one there. We got caught. It was a bang to kind of like what we did to them on our power play goal, that low play, and that you have to be ready for that. Or obviously those low plays, you got to be down and take that ice away. Second one, that was a quick shot. I don't know if everybody was expecting that to come, and I don't think that Helly even saw any of that as it came in. But they weren't. You don't want to give up goals, obviously, but that's a pretty dangerous power play over there too. And they had some looks, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about timing. And the timing for us, we had a kill at the right time in the third period, and that was the big difference.
And then on the flip side, Scott, how has your power play continued to add wrinkles and be so effective?
I think obviously when Davis, we talk about a lot about sort of, there's certain things that we've talked at the very start of the year about what we always wanted to do, and whether that was face-off, retrievals or entries, and, our attack mentality. The one thing we got to see is kind of how they were killing. Even though we looked at them from their last few games, we saw it live on the first few, and that kind of set up what we wanted to do on the next 2. And, when Fly got that chance down the goal line to jam it a couple of times, that kind of opened up some stuff for us, and then the seam play opened up and the back door was there. So it's just kind of those guys also recognizing, when the opposition is in certain spots, it's open a hole. It's 5 against 4. It's opening up a spot somewhere, and that's what these guys have done a great job of finding those holes.
And what do you think the way D handled things, playing without Hayden today and without Dylan still?
Yeah, there's obviously Stan coming back. Being out, not having a whole lot of practice time. Villy we had to up his minutes, and Millsy as well. And our big 3 there, those guys have been great. And obviously P saw a lot of different partners tonight, and just kind of that's part of what we had talked about all year long, trying to get these guys all in situations so that when you run into these difficult times with injuries, that these guys have played and they feel comfortable going into the end playing.
Scott, I just want to ask about Nikolai Ehlers. It seemed as though he was skating really well and generating a lot with his speed, and then on his goal was just kind of gliding, and everyone kind of backed up. Is that kind of an example of the threat of speed sometimes being just as good as flying down the road?
Yeah, for sure. he's a guy when the opposition defense see him coming, they're not real keen on keeping a tight gap. They don't want to get embarrassed by getting beat wide, and when he does it enough, when he does it consistently, exactly all of a sudden kind of the sea parted there, and he had the big wide open sort of ice to get inside the blue line and to get even closer to the goalie. So his speed is a weapon, and when he uses it, it really is so effective for us.
And on the top line, over the last month or so, they've maybe been even in shot attempt metrics, but they've been out-chancing their opponents and scoring a lot of goals. Is the emphasis for that line to hold on to the puck a lot like you saw in Kyle Connor's first goal and maybe wait for that high-danger chance to pop up rather than throwing a low-danger chance on that?
I think there's a little bit of mix of who we're playing against in the sense of how they defend. When we see man-on-man teams, there's a different look that we kind of throw. We saw tonight this is a center release team, so there's some gaps that open and there's some holes that happen. So you have to move, you have to puck support, and then you got to get there's going to be an opening, and that's exactly what happened on Casey's goal. We found that hole. So those guys, they're pretty. Their hockey sense, their ability to kind of see what's in front of them and what's being sort of presented to them by the other team, how they're trying to defend us. That's what they do so well. They do a great job of close support. Gabe does a great job of being around the net front that distracts probably the goaltender and probably a defenseman. And then Casey and Scheif, they get on the move there. They do a pretty good job when they're cycling and finding open lanes.
Maybe you said everything there, but I was thinking Tavares talked about that line being, as elite as anyone in the league. Scheif's got more goals this month than anyone else in the league. They're way high up there in points. So just an opportunity I wanted to offer you to kind of wax poetic about the weapon that you have with that top line.
Nope, not talking about them. Nobody knows about them. I'm keeping it nice and quiet. No, but we'll sit in here, and if we're going to play Colorado in a couple of games there, we're going to talk about McKinnon and those guys, that line, McDavid, especially when Draisaitl's playing there. There's some big lines. Matthews, when him and when he's on his line, there's some great lines around this league, and he takes an awful lot of focus. The opposition pays a lot of attention to him, and now these guys are obviously going to get even more attention, but they've been pretty consistent for me, in my opinion. From the start of the season to where we are now, they've had some success over the last couple of years, but now they've really put it together. And certainly having Gabe healthy, playing all these games, and just being in sync like they are, you can see it that they read off each other so well. It's kind of the last point there, being able to find holes, find those spot plays that create those opportunities.
Yeah. We looked back, we've been covering this team for a long time. I know you weren't here, but Scheif and Connor back with Wheeler in those days, it kind of felt like that was the peak of what they were going to be. But you just talked about them kind of reaching that next level. I asked Mark about it before the game, but as a coach, do you see something that from them this year that you were here the last 2 years that you've seen them kind of just shoot off into the stratosphere this year?
Well, the big thing we talked about, and I've talked to you guys about, is their buy-in to playing without the puck. But the big thing that they recognize is that the other coaches are playing their other team's top line against them. It isn't just they're defending; they're the best defensive team. The best defensive line. They're going head to head with their elite players against them, and that's kind of been my kind of challenge to them. Okay, here you go. Now you're not just seeing Adam Lowry every shift. You're seeing the other team's top line. Now you got to go be better than them, because if you don't, they're going to be scoring against you. They're going to get opportunities against you, and that's kind of the buy-in, is they're recognizing if it's tonight, whoever they're matching up against, if they're better than they are defending, they're going to have the puck more, and that whatever that top line is, they're going to have to spend time in their end of the rink. And for me, you love to see that. You love to see when your top line is going head to head and you're making them defend all night, and those guys are getting chances. Scheif, Casey, Gabe are getting chances offensively. Thanks. Thanks, guys.